we have a new UFC heavyweight champion. UFC on Fox just ended a few minutes ago, and welcome back to Kamikaze Overdrive's post-fight podcast. Yes, that's correct, folks. Junior Dos Santos knocking out Cain Velasquez in what did it go down as? 1 minute and 4 seconds, catching him with a big overhand right and finishing him off on the mat with some ground and pound. Junior Dos Santos is the new UFC heavyweight champion. Very interesting card, and let's talk about it. First and foremost, Kamikaze Overdrive. Not my best night of predicting. I went 5-5. Of the 3 fights I did break down extensively, the main event, the Ben Henderson-Clay Guida fight, and the Dustin Poirier-Pablo Garza, I went 2-1. The Poirier fight went excellent. He ended up winning the fight by submission, which I expected to knock him out, but the majority of the way things transpired, exactly what I expected. Again, with Ben Henderson winning the fight by decision, I called that one on the button. I took Henderson by decision. He did pretty much everything I expected him. Clay Guida put up a better fight. Clay Guida is a beast, and I actually, I really like the effort he puts out. Good for him, and it's just unfortunate that he was unable to get the victory, but nonetheless, I took Ben Henderson. Cub Swanson, Ricardo Lamas. I'll go backwards through the card. Cub Swanson, Ricardo Lamas. Swanson had a couple opportunities. I took Swanson to win that fight. Lamas got the job done with a submission against, just like the championship fight tonight. Swanson was coming back after a long layoff, and I think it affected his in-ring, in-ring feel. DeMarcus Johnson, Clay Harbison. Johnson winning with a very fast TKO. I had him by submission. Either way, I felt he was a better overall fighter than Harbison, and he got the job done. Big upset in the next one. Kid Yamamoto versus Darren. I noticed Joe Rogan kept referring to him as Darren Umayoma. Probably not saying that right. Either way, I took Umayoma to win it by decision. He won it by decision. He was a 4-1 underdog on most betting sites, so hopefully you jumped on that one. In the prediction tournament, 16 competitors. I'm the only one who picked that one, so maybe you might be able to see who. Maybe you pick up who that might be, but either way, I take that. Very happy with that. Mackin Semenzer versus Robert Peralta. Little upset with this one. Semenzer won the first round. He got clocked, but he did very well in the second round. Third round was anyone's game. Peralta, it's not Peralta's fault, it's no one's fault, but Peralta clips him with a headbutt. It was kind of a collision of heads, and Semenzer got the worst of it because he dropped. Both guys missing punches. I don't know if there's anything can happen with that. I don't know if anybody will have an instance where they will go back and review it and realize that it was an illegal blow, quote-unquote an illegal blow, that resulted in the fight ending, and they will review it or do anything. Like, you look at, I don't know, we'll see. But either way, Peralta gets the win by knockout, so that hurts me there. Bruce Leroy Caceres versus Cole Escovedo. I think Joe said it best. It looked like Escovedo was fighting in mud. He just could not get anything going. Bruce Leroy looked very good in that fight. And, we'll see how he does at 135. Mike Pierce, Paul Bradley. Split decision win for Pierce. Very tight fight. And like I said, the odds were heavily skewed in the favor of Mike Pierce. But having watched the first meeting these guys had a couple of years ago, I thought it would be a close fight. I took Pierce by decision, so it played out almost as I expected it to. A good fight in the sense, I'm not taking credit for how the fight's played. Again, a lot of times it's a crapshoot, no matter how much you research. You know what I mean? That's kind of how I expected it to break down, based on what I thought. And finally, Aaron Rosa kicking off against Matt Lucas. Rosa defeated Lucas. We had a 28-28 and 2 30-26s. So that shows how flawed some of the judging can be. I know the 28-28 was, the lower numbers were the result of the point taken away because of the mouth guard, but still a couple 30-27s and someone. I don't think Lucas won a single round in that fight. He had a couple little takedowns, but really did nothing with the position and just pinned Rosa. And Rosa did a lot of damage with his short elbows, knees, and so on. As you can see, so that's the card. I'll talk about the main event a little bit, and the whole Fox presentation. As the first matchup, the first round of the events are going by for the prediction tournament. Very good. I think we have at least one tie. The majority of the events or matchups are very close, and it looks like it's going to be a tight round again. UFC 139 will be the next event on the list, and it should. I think this is going to be a tight round, and you're really going to have a lot of success and get the odd upset here and there, because there were a lot of fights. People had the majority of fights exactly the same, predicted exactly the same, or very close. So it really could come down to maybe the outcome of the fight, how you pick that one up, or if you can pull off an upset like I did with my fight in the Kid Yamamoto fight. Either way, tight tournament. Make sure you get your picks in for the next one. It should be very good. Now, let's talk about the heavyweight main event. Not a lot to talk about, only 1 minute and 4 seconds. Cain, to me, looked tentative, but and hesitant, I guess, if you will, to engage. And I don't know about Dana White and Brock Lesnar bashing him for not shooting in, because he was feeling him out, trying to get that rhythm. He's been out for a long time, and you got to wonder, did that affect him? I think it clearly did. To me, if you look at his midsection a little bit, he didn't look as tight. Maybe that, he wasn't quite in the shape he needed to be in order to, compete at the highest level. I think Cain Velasquez will be back. He'll be, he'll get another fight or two under his belt. I should expect him to have success, and he will be contending for the title once again. Not to worry there. Junior Dos Santos, he went out and did exactly what he needed to do. He threw that overhand right. He kept the fight standing when Cain did it at the one time to try to shoot and take it down, and he got the job done. Good for JDS. This guy could be a beast, especially if he stuffs the takedowns. Now, when you look at it overall, how much of a beast is Roy Nelson? Nelson stood in there, and Shane Carwin even. They both took absolute beatings by JDS, and neither one of them went down. So good on them. But still, Dos Santos is a warrior. And this sets up a very interesting scenario for the UFC, and I think this, it's very, it works out very well in the sense that now, if Brock Lesnar beats Alistair Overeem, you can set up Lesnar versus Junior Dos Santos as the fight that should have happened coming off the reality show. It's a brand new matchup, and you don't have to worry about the fact that Cain destroyed Brock last time they fought. You're not going to see that again. Or if Overeem defeats Brock, and you wind up with Overeem versus Dos Santos, it'll be billed as one of the greatest striking matchups of all time in the UFC heavyweight division. So it would be very interesting either way. I think it's a win-win for the UFC. Now, the Fox presentation. I wasn't overly stuck on the NFL-style music at the beginning. For me, it just sounded a little bit, they didn't give the UFC their own identity. But of course, Fox is looking to, legitimize it with that Fox Sports feel to it. I like the pre-fight ramble with the talking with Kurt Menefee, Brock Lesnar, and Dana sitting up there. I thought Brock handled himself very well. I give him a lot of props. I kind of held my breath when he went to say a couple things, but he really seemed to, he's from the WWE. He knows how to handle a microphone. So, good for him. Dana White, I don't know if that's the best place for Dana. I wouldn't mind having Dana spoken to a couple times, interviewed, but get someone else up in there. I like Brock. Obviously, you can't have Brock and Frank Mir sitting there because they're, not best friends by any stretch of the imagination. But I think Frank would be a great analyst in that scenario. It'd be very interesting to see who can get there. I don't know. Well, I'm sure more personalities will come through as we see more and more, Fox presentations. It could be very interesting in that sense. I thought the overall presentation was nice. I enjoyed it. It looked crisp. It looked clean. Had the fight gone a little bit longer, you probably would have seen a little bit more of what they had to offer and how it would have unfolded. But either way, I do like the pre-fight talk and the post-fight talk. I think that's good. I think the UFC needs to go to that. I think they should have a separate booth instead of listening to Goldie and Joe. Because you listen to Goldie and Joe the entire show and it gets a little tiresome. Sometimes like listening to me for this long a period of time because I know not all of you listen for this long. But when you listen to Mike Goldberg and Joe Rogan for an entire show, it gets boring a little bit, or you get tired of hearing their voices. But if they were to cut between fights, or even quickly, maybe between rounds, or let other people talk while they're still showing the between rounds, they're showing the corner action, it might give us a little break and get a little different stimulus, and there were different people talking and different insights. But I like that. I think the UFC will build upon that, and the next time we see a show on Fox, which will have more fights, I am looking forward to it very much. But either way, UFC on Fox, it wasn't a disaster. We didn't wind up with a 5-round snooze fest. Ben Anderson, Clay Guida, easily the fight of the night. I don't know if it could be fight of the year, potentially. If that would have been on Fox, that would have been absolutely fantastic. It would have been, well worth our money. Either way, I think that's, it was a good overall showing. Cain and Junior. Cain will be back. Junior is a champion. He will represent the UFC. He's a very, he seems like a very nice guy based on what we saw on the reality show. I think he's an excellent champion, and hopefully he can hold him to the title for a little bit longer than Cain Velasquez did and other champions have done in the past. Either way, I think that's enough for me. Check out your scores. Make sure you get your picks in for 139. I know those, I get on some people sometimes and they don't get their picks in quickly, but I just don't want to see you guys get cheated. Like I know at the end of the first round for UFC 138, I had a couple people just didn't even realize they were still in the tournament until I sent them last-second emails being like, hey, guys, get your picks in, and then they clued in that, I have to send my picks in. So that's why I sent out those last-second emails to people, be like, hey, get your picks in. It's fun. Plus, I'm trying to win this tournament to build my own persona. Just kidding. Haha. Hopefully I can escape the second round. I'll just give you a hint, though. Kamikaze Overdrive, still in the second round, and winning. Winning! Alright, that's enough from me. Kamikaze Overdrive, post-fight show, UFC on Fox. 5-5, not a great night either way. Tough set of picks. I will see you, or you'll see me on the UFC 139 show. It's posted. MMABettingOdds.com. Before I go, definitely check them out. They are doing a prediction tournament. I believe it's a $2,000 prediction tournament. Go and check that site out. There's more information. You can check them out and see. Go from there. But yeah, make sure you go to that site. Please give them a try. And of course, SportsInteraction.com, always providing betting options. And here's one. Before I go, they gave the option to bet on Fight of the Night. Guida Henderson, 3.5 to 1 for Fight of the Night. Drop $100 down on that one. It's $350 return. It was a pretty solid bet. I'm pretty sure it's going to be Fight of the Night. Either way, check Sports Interaction out, MMABettingOdds.com. I'm done giving free plugs. Well, not free plugs. I'm out of here. See you later, guys.